from Sugar Coated Murder Podcast.
I don't know what tune you've gone to.
Well, I was just going along with your dancing.
I know, and it's definitely non-rhythmic dancing.
Difficult to describe. Tribal, almost.
I would say it's interpretive dance, and it's interpreting the silence.
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, we're from Sugar Coated Murder Podcast, where we bake in the kitchen.
And we talk about true crime.
And we do. And guess what I'm baking in the kitchen?
What?
Okay, so we're going to see our mama.
Yes, I know. Yes.
So our mama she loves it when we go to Stuckey's and we get her the pecan log.
Yes.
So
if she doesn't, she's polite enough not to tell us that she no
that.
longer cares for it.
Yes.
Because she liked it when we were kiddles.
We were kiddles.
Just kiddles.
I was never a kittle.
Yes,
I was
you were.
a skittle.
Yes, a scary kid. Yes, a scary little kid. A skittle.
I was a Sour Patch Kid. And I still am. So anyway, she happens to love the Stuckey pecan logs.
Uh-huh.
So I found a recipe that it's a really old recipe. And I don't even know how long I've had it, but a long time, because I don't even write like this hardly anymore. So it's Pecan Divinity.
Oh, yum.
So some people call it Divinity fudge. Some people call it white fudge. Some people call it vanilla fudge. I call it Divinity.
I think Divinity is the best one.
And because you roll it in pecans.
Right.
Well, you don't roll it. This isn't going to be a log. I'm going to mix the pecan pieces in it and then drop it in little plops.
Plops, okay. little plops.
Little plops of love.
Oh, nice.
Cloudy little clouds.
That's better. Clouds of Divinity.
Yes. So that's what I'm making.
That's exciting.
It's exciting. It's such a really basic recipe. I'm sure the reason I wrote down this recipe because there's a huge shortcut to it.
Oh.
And so very basic ingredients. You've got water. You've got sugar.
I do have both of those.
Vanilla.
Yep.
You got your chopped pecan.
Though I'll be honest with you, vanilla is a struggle. We use vanilla.
And we need a vanilla sponsor.
We do. Something.
Somebody find us a small vanilla company that will sponsor us.
Because vanilla is pricey.
It's pricey, and we go through it. We go through it so much.
We do.
So very much.
We really do.
So, and then you put the jet puffed marshmallow fluff in it.
Anything that calls for the marshmallow fluff is going to be a good recipe.
Yes.
You just have to know going in.
I just feel like it was some kind of a shortcut.
Right.
And I thought, I like that one.
Yes.
So the first thing that you do is you put your 2 cups of sugar and your cup of water in a heavy bottomed pot with your candy thermometer, and it says to cook on medium heat without stirring until it gets to 250. Do you know how difficult that is for me?
Yeah. To
not just walk by and stir it.
Don't do it.
I stirred it a lot before I turned it on just because I needed to get it out of my system.
Sure.
But so I'm gonna have to watch the thermometer, and then once it does that, you take it off the heat and you stir in your vanilla, your jet puff marshmallow fluff, and your pecans, and you just kind of stir it up, and you keep stirring it until it cools enough to plop out those little clouds.
And you plop them on wax paper on just a cookie sheet.
On a cookie sheet, or just on your countertop. Just put some paper, either parchment or wax paper down.
And then you just let them cool, and that's that?
That's it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so you don't have to turn your oven on.
I cannot wait.
So I really hope this works, because if it does, I feel like I can add this to my Christmas baking repertoire.
Yeah, I'm sorry we're not drinking bourbon tonight, because that would be an excellent little treat with bourbon.
Yeah, well, the night's not over, babe.
It's very true.
It's not
so
over.
Very true.
So, while I'm sitting here watching the thermometer, which, by the way, I'm already at 200.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we had such a hard time with that thermometer when we made the French silk pie.
We really did. It's a very tricky thermometer, and it's not the thermometer's fault.
Right.
It's because we were using, we were using the double boiler.
Because we had to constantly, we were doing a pan on a pan instead of a double boiler.
Yes, because we didn't have a proper.
And you had to constantly stir. You could not stir.
Yeah.
And that kept making the temperature go down.
Yes.
It took forever.
It was very challenging.
And I thought maybe my thermometer was broken, so I went out and bought another one, only to find out it doesn't go up to 250 degrees like you need.
No, it doesn't, which I'm really surprised, because, like, Candy candy forms into a soft ball at 250 and a firm ball at 260 or 275, and then like it's in that after the 200s.
Maybe
that it starts.
It's more of a latte.
It's a latte.
It's not a meat thermometer.
No,
I bought it. It's
not.
And it said candy thermometer, but maybe it meant not.
Candy that's not in a ball.
I don't know.
I don't either. So anyway, yeah, I'm cruising right here.
That's awesome. All right.
You go ahead and get on your moita.
I'm going to. This week I'm in Staten Island, New York.
Okay.
We're in New York. All the way
You're in New York?
New York. No.
No. I can't do the Yankee thing.
Yes, you can.
Hold on, let me think about it.
New York.
New York.
There you go.
New York.
Yeah.
York.
York. Don't go Boston.
Y-A-W-K.
Don't go Boston.
No, that's York. New York.
There you go.
Oh, it's like in the back of my throat. I have to pretty much just swallow my uvula.
Yeah. Yes, there you go.
Oh, my. Okay.
All right, so.
Now that our dialect coaching class is done.
Listen, we can speak in so many different dialects, it's not even funny.
We're a master of
People should
dialect.
hire us to do voiceovers.
Oh, please. They should. They have no idea what they're missing.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so in the afternoon of July 5th, 2012, Simeonette Mapes-Crupi.
Excuse me?
Her name is Simeonette. Don't you love that?
That's a really pretty name.
I love that.
Simeonette?
Simeonette.
Okay.
She actually, her family called her Sissy. I think like a younger person in the family couldn't pronounce it, or maybe it was your brother or somebody, and they called her Sissy. But I'm going to call her Simeonette because I love that name.
A gorgeous name.
It's beautiful. Anyway, she was found dead. Stabbed to death in her Staten Island apartment.
We just found out her pretty name.
I know. It was her husband of nearly 5 years that found Simeonette stabbed to death and lying at the bottom of their stairs. He told the 911 operator that his home had been robbed and that his wife was dead.
Oh, my.
So Jonathan and Simeonette met in college. Simeonette was on track to be a school teacher, so she was thrilled.
Sorry, I feel like I need to vent.
Oh, it's very loud and disruptive to my story.
Okay, so will the...
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
It steam or is it...
It's just steam.
Oh, well, turn it on. I'll speak loudly. I'll say it loud.
Loud and proud.
So Simeonette was so excited because a friend of hers introduced her to Jonathan, who they went to the same school, but the school was big and they didn't know each other.
Oh, they went to the same school separately.
Yes,
together.
Correct. And he was also on track to be a teacher. So they had a lot of similarities, and their personalities were very similar. They were playful and,
They like to yoke around?
They yoked around a lot. And they fell in love.
Aww.
And then they got engaged.
As lovers do.
As lovers do. They married in July of 2007. Simeonette landed a job teaching social studies to high school students. And then Jonathan, he can't seem to get himself a teaching job. And, he's like, I don't know why I can't get a job. And then Simeonette's like, well, maybe I can help you get a job. And then he said, well, it turns out I never got my degree. And she's like, oh, my God, you lied?
Oh, no.
You lied to me?
That's a little bit of an oopsie.
Yeah, and she was not happy. She was not happy.
No, I wouldn't be either.
But he begged her for forgiveness, and they were able to work through it.
That's good.
And Jonathan said he wanted to get his degree. He had failed a final exam and hadn't made it to the end, but he was very close.
Okay.
So he... in order to do that, they had to take out a loan for $25,000.
Holy moly.
But Jonathan finally does get his degree.
Okay.
Simeonette then talks to the principal at her school and says, I really think you need to give my husband a chance. And because she is such a well-liked teacher at the school, the principal says, okay, I'll give him a chance.
Oh, good.
And they hire Jonathan there as an English teacher.
Okay, English.
English. But just something to know about Simeonette. She was such a good teacher that when her students went in to take, some of the standardized tests that you take in school. the students scored above average on the social studies portion.
Wow.
And when the results came back, they actually called Simeonette to the office and asked if she cheated, if she gave her students the answer. That's how well they did. And she was like, absolutely not. But because it's a placement test, the board said, we're going to have to retest these students because it's not right. It's like all these years. Right. It's so off base of what we normally see. So they made the students go in on a Saturday, and they retested them and actually had a paid monitor in there to monitor the students to make sure there was no cheating. And damn it, the students didn't perform just as well, if not better.
Oh my gosh, Nick, can you imagine being that student, having to go in on a Saturday to retake a test because you did so damn good on it?
Right.
And then only to just do damn good again?
Right. Right. So that just tells you what an incredible teacher,
really good teacher.
She was. And I think that's incredible that she had such skills that she was able to teach high school kids in a way that no other teacher had in the school before her.
That's really impressive.
So things are going really well. They both got their jobs, and then they decide, okay, let's go back and get our master's degrees. And I have a feeling maybe it was Simeonette that was maybe pushing this horse along a little.
You think?
But Jonathan agreed. They took out another loan to go back to school. On July 3rd of 2012, Simeonette told her mother that she and Jonathan were having some marital problems, and then by the 5th of July, she was dead.
Oh, no.
So police get to the apartment after that 911 call and find it in disarray, and they see, Simeonette is dead. She's at the bottom of the stairs. Jonathan is taken to the police station for questioning because the spouse is always your first suspect. He tells police that he had left early that day to go run some errands, and that he had been texting Simeonette along the way as he finished his errands, but she had never texted him back, and he just assumed she was sleeping.
Oh.
So they asked if he could give an alibi. Where did you go when you were running these errands?
Yeah.
And he gave them the following information. At 9 a.m., I went by the school to pick up some stuff. At 10 a.m., I went to get my car inspected. And at 12 p.m., I went to the Home Depot to pick up some things.
Okay.
Okay?
Typical Saturday
And
afternoon.
he even has text messages that line up with his timeline.
Oh, good.
Okay? So police are going to now have to, of course, confirm that you are where you were. Now we're going to go back to the apartment. It does look like the apartment had been robbed. There are drawers pulled out and empty, jewelry boxes strewn about. So it does appear to be a robbery. However, it's odd because of the layout of the apartment. For her to have fallen down the stairs, somebody would have had to come in and get behind her. And the only way to do that was through a second-story window in a very, very, very busy apartment complex.
Oh, okay.
So it's not like they're
not tucked away somewhere.
They're not tucked away somewhere.
Okay.
And she's on a main road, and there are people constantly back and forth, and you couldn't just climb into the window. You would have to have a ladder or some kind of equipment, and none of that was there.
Yeah.
And there was no sign anywhere of forced entry. So that does strike them as a bit odd. On the 10th of July, Simeonette is buried. The following day, the medical examiner's report comes back. Oh, I'm sorry. Alexa's telling me to take my trash out.
We got it, Alexa. You're good.
She's really good about making sure I know.
Yeah.
So the following day, the medical examiner report comes back. Not only had Simeonette been stabbed 15 times,
oh my God,
but she had bruising consistent with falling down or being pushed down the stairs.
Okay.
So let's think about this for a minute. If you're a robber, what have you've come in to rob? Because you probably need cash.
Yes.
Right? And if you come in and you see somebody and they're in your way, you're trying to get out or whatever, you are probably not going to stab them 15 times.
No, because I'm going to try to maybe cut them once or push them down. Like, I want to incapacitate them enough for me to get out the door.
Exactly.
With my stuff, because I got stuff, right? Because I'm robbing, so I got stuff.
Right, and at that point, I don't even care about my stuff. I've been found out. I got to get out.
I got to go.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, whoever
Nobody's
did
going to take the time to stab her that many times for robbery.
Stabbed her 15 times.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And the stab wounds were on her back.
Oh, dear.
So they stabbed her in her back, her arms, her upper torso. It just, to the police, it seems like it's personal. Like somebody's very angry and they're taking it out on her.
15 times is a lot. It doesn't sound like a lot, because if I had 15 cents or $15, I wouldn't be like, oh, that's so much. But stabbing somebody 15 times is a lot. It
is a lot. When you think about piercing the skin, pulling out, putting back in, I mean...
And that blood is flying.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's all over the place. So, there's some red flags that are definitely going up at this point. So the police are now going to start researching Jonathan's alibi.
Okay.
His timeline sends red flags because it's very precise. Like, if I leave the house and go run errands, I don't think I could tell you what time I got to where. No. Like, I could say it was somewhere in this
around
vicinity. Right.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been, I was there at this, I left at this time, and here's my text message.
Yeah.
It's not normally so
not that
precise. It
no.
shouldn't be.
Not that in my life is that precise. Everything I do is ish.
Right. Right. And we're talking about a dude here who didn't finish college his first go around and lied about it. So I can't imagine he's a precise person.
Doesn't seem to be detail oriented.
No.
Like on the surface anyway.
Right. So the police start pulling surveillance video. First they pull the surveillance video at the school. Sure enough, there's Jonathan going into the school. He goes in his classroom. He leaves the school. The next place they see him is at the place where he got his car inspected. There he is. He drops his car off. He walks across the street. He looks in some of the shops. There's surveillance, picks him up. He goes back, gets his car, and he leaves. So then they go to the Home Depot surveillance, and they watch it, and they watch it, and they watch it, and there's no Jonathan. He never went to the Home Depot.
Oh, no.
Right?
Jonathan,
what do you
said you were there at noon, sharp.
You didn't go. You didn't. You didn't go to the Home Depot.
Part. You forgot to go.
Yeah. So, in the meantime, they go back to the apartment, and they do a little bit more searching. And they end up finding a backpack in one of the closets.
Oh.
Among some other random items, there was a cell phone, a cellular device in the backpack.
Okay.
And they look at the call history, and it shows several unknown numbers. So police say, we're going to call the one that he's called the most and see who answers. So they call it up, and on the other end of the phone, they've reached Miss Pumpkin.
Who?
Miss Pumpkin. Pumpkin.
There's a person named Pumpkin?
Her name is Miss Pumpkin. Miss Pumpkin turns out to be a local sex worker.
Good Lord.
Instead of going to the Home Depot, Jonathan had gotten himself a little pumpkin muffin.
Oh, no. Oh, God.
And
so, you can see where it could be confusing. Home Depot, visit with
hardware store,
a sex session with Miss Pumpkin.
Right.
I mean, it's all the same.
I got a muffin and a latte. I don't know what to tell you. So they bring old Miss Pumpkin down to the station, and she confirms, yep, Jonathan was with me. And as a matter of fact, I had a really, really busy schedule. I was busy that day. My schedule was packed, so I actually had to work him in.
Oh, Pumpkin.
Yeah, for $300. Yep, $300 for that muffin.
And these people are on a teacher salary.
Correct.
I'm just saying, that does not compute.
No. So it turns out that Simeonette had recently found out that Jonathan had been sleeping with a lot of sex workers.
What?
In addition, she found out that though Jonathan told her he had finished his master's program,
no.
he had, in fact, never even enrolled in the program.
Nuh-uh.
He had, however, taken the loan money that he had gotten to go back to school and spent it on strippers and sex workers to the tune over a 4-year period of $50,000.
This is ridiculous.
$50,000. What a guy.
That is a teacher's salary. That's the
whole shebang. So, Simeonette, by the way, she did get her master's with honors.
Of course she did.
With honors.
Of course.
This Jonathan, dude, he is not the sharpest tool in the shed, not the brightest crown in the box, no. Because police also had gotten a search warrant and taken his computer. And when they look at his search history, they find questions like how to clean up a crime scene, does bleach clean up DNA? All these ridiculous questions about what do I do with the dead body? What do I mean, just like stupid stuff.
This is why I can't finish school. He's stupid.
Right. So, Jonathan Crupi is arrested November 13th, 2012, and charged with second-degree murder.
Why is it second?
I wondered that myself. That's
just, I mean, I don't know. They must have said we can prove second. We may have a hard time proving first.
I guess. It took them 3 years to take him to trial, so I guess they felt like maybe their evidence was shaky or whatever. Whatever happened. In September of 2015, he goes to trial and is found guilty and is sentenced to 25 years to life.
He was guilty?
Guilty. You son are guilty. Guilty of a charge of murder.
Oh my God. And what was his sentence?
25 years to life.
Not enough.
In 2016, Jonathan signed up for a dating site called convictpenpals.com.
That cannot be allowed.
His profile says, I'm not married and I don't have any kids. No baby mama drama here.
No, because I killed her.
What an asshole. Because he's got no baby mama drama because he pushed his wife down a flight of stairs, stabbed her 15 times 2 days before their 5th wedding anniversary.
And worked in a date with Pumpkin.
And then, right. And then paid $300 for a pumpkin muffin. Hello. Oh, my God. So this jackass appealed his case in 2019. His request was denied.
Good.
He can still appeal to the New York Court of Appeals, so I'm sure there's he and his attorneys feel that the search warrants weren't done properly.
Oh, good God.
Whatever.
It doesn't matter. He killed her.
Exactly.
My whole thing is, after we find out that he killed her, it's fine.
Everything
else is fine.
Right, the end.
And I don't think that prisoners should be on prisoner
No. No.
This is not okay.
Oh, but they are. And people go out there and do that. I don't understand it, but I'm trying hard not to pass judgment.
Judge people, but...
So for those of us that don't know what it means when they say 25 years to life, I did look that up because I see that to life a lot and I don't get it. Yeah. What that means is you're not eligible for parole before 25 years. Right. You have to serve 25 years before you're eligible.
And just because you're eligible doesn't mean anything because they can deny you the rest of your life. Right.
So it's a life sentence. You just are up for parole in 25 years.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed that he doesn't get parole ever.
Yeah,
and that he remains in prison on his convict pen pal dating website.
For sure, girl.
Yeah. And that's it. Well, there's Simone. He put out her light way too soon.
I'm telling you.
He traded his wife for a pumpkin.
Well, and Pumpkin didn't even know. She had nothing to do with it.
No, she didn't have anything to do with it.
Girl.
Working girl, doing her thing.
Doing her thing, doing what it takes to get by.
Hey, just 1 second. If you think you might need some spray to go in that purse, it's in the cabinet right behind you. There's some. She's using a little cookie scoop, and because it's a sticky batter, sometimes if you spray that metal and then you scoop your sticky batter, it comes out a little cleaner. It may or may not work.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're all about the kitchen hacks, y'all.
Yeah, just stay tuned for those.
Yeah, we're going to be giving you a lot more of the kitchen hacks.
So, this is turning out really kind of cool.
Well, it smells divine.
It smells good over here, I
Yeah,
gotta tell you.
your divinity smells
My
divine.
divinity is divine.
Yes. DeVanie's Divine Divinity.
Oh, girls,
Oh my
stop
gosh,
it. We're going to have to rename this recipe.
We are.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
And if we ever have a sugar-coated murder bake sale to raise money for vanilla,
yes.
we're gonna
Oh my God,
we're gonna sell it.
Yes. So, if anybody wants to order a half a dozen of DeVanie's Divine Divinity, email us and we'll settle on a price and see if we can't get
That's
some
right.
people interested.
Can you turn that fan off now? Because it sounds like we're in a. Woo, my Lord, have mercy.
I know. I didn't even hear myself
That
think.
was some crazy stuff right there.
But it was steamy and I didn't want to set anything off.
No, because when my fire smoke detector goes off, it goes off, and it also there's a voice that says fire, fire.
And you can hear it outside the hall and outside in the
It's everywhere.
courtyard.
And poor Trout, he falls apart about it.
And then he can't get it
He
together
cannot.
the rest of the evening.
That's it. That's
Okay.
it.
So can you go on pause? Because I think I could use an assistant.
I'm going to go on pause and see if I can find you an assistant.
No, I just need another pan.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
Thank you.
Okay, we're pausing and we'll be right back, y'all. We're back. We are back.
Yes, we're back.
We are
I
back.
finished putting my clouds out on the bacon sheets.
They look so good.
And it probably made maybe a dozen and a half.
Yeah, you made them big.
But they're big.
You made big balls.
I got big balls, guys. You could actually make those half of what I did and get a good 3 dozen out of them.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah. So,
You need a small scooper.
Yeah.
Mine's not a, like a melon baller.
that would be the perfect
Yeah.
size because I think these are going to be a little bit rich because it's pretty much just sugar
It's sugar.
It's just
sugar
sugar.
and pecans.
and vanilla.
Yes.
Vanilla sugar with pecan.
There's nothing wrong with it.
It's like a sugared pecan in the form of cloud.
Yes.
So we're sitting on the couch, and for some reason, Lance Bass over here has decided it's playtime, and he's bringing all the toys. But it is not playtime, Lance Bass.
No, you need to lay down, buddy.
All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to talk about this missing girl because it's my turn to present a missing person case.
Okay.
Her name is Zoe Henry McGillen.
Uh-huh.
She was last seen on December 2nd, 2020 in Lexington, South Carolina.
Okay.
At the time, she was 16 years old, 5'3". I'm not going to say her weight because we're girls.
We don't
We do that.
to tell
We
that.
don't do that. Even though I just got to tell you, she's just a little thing.
She's little.
She has brown eyes and brown hair, and she's biracial. And before anybody says, why do you need to point that out? It's because I'm literally reading directly off of her wanted poster.
Right.
So she left home in the middle of the night on 12/2/20, and her family has not heard from her since.
Bless her
And
heart.
this is very unlike her, to leave in the middle of the night, to not be in touch with her family. So currently there is a $3,000 reward for any credible information that leads to the resolution of this case.
Okay.
And if you have any information about her disappearance, you can contact the Lexington County Sheriff's Office, and I'll post that number along with her poster
Okay.
and on all of our social media, and I'll put the case number as well that people can refer to.
Perfect.
Pass it along. You don't know. This girl could have been picked up and she could be in New York by now, or Connecticut, or Kansas. Make it, just spread
Ohio,
it.
anywhere.
She could be anywhere. Puerto Rico, we don't know, but just spread the word. Get her poster out there, get her face out there, and let's see if we can't find her parents some
Yes,
answers.
absolutely.
So anyway, that's my missing person for the week.
Thank you for sharing.
Yes, and all of our prayers go out to both Zoe and Zoe's family and
Yes,
friends.
absolutely.
So now, I have a murder.
Okay.
It's a crazy murder.
They're all crazy.
They are crazy.
They don't
So-
make a narrow bit of sense.
This one really caught my eye.
My eye.
Yeah, because it's out of Conway, South Carolina.
Okay.
So
That's over close to Myrtle Beach.
it's very close to Myrtle Beach. It's where Coastal Carolina University is.
Right.
Which is my daughter's,
Alma mater.
I didn't know what to say, alma mater.
Annie.
The alma mater. That's her alma mater.
Alma mater. They're in Conway, South Carolina.
Yeah. So anyway, it's not very far from here. So I'm going to tell you the story about Diane Sugar Parker.
Oh.
See, another
Sugar.
near and dear. And her husband, Charlie Parker.
Mm-hmm.
So some stuff I read that they were both 54 years old, but other stuff I read where Diane was 52 and he was 54. So we're going with her being 52
yes.
and him 54.
She was in her 50.
We're girls.
Yes.
We support each other.
That's right.
So Diane worked in the Horry County School District as a school secretary. She loved going to yard sales. She loved crafting, buying crafts, making crafts, being crafty. She was a crafty girl. Charlie was self-employed. He owned a local small business, a glass company, that he actually ran out of a barn on their property.
Oh, okay.
Yep. They had 2 children. They had a son named Charlie Jr., and then they had a daughter named Bambi Bennett. And Bambi was the daughter of Diane and the stepdaughter of Charlie.
Gotcha.
But his relationship with Bambi was definitely father-daughter.
Right.
And Charlie Jr. worked with his dad at the business, the family business. So April 12th, 2005, Charlie Jr. and some workers stopped by Sugar and Charlie's house. And, they're on the property anyway, so they were there to pick up some equipment or something,
right,
or whatever.
Sure.
And they noticed it was awful quiet for that time of day. Usually it's some hustle and bustle going on in the house and stuff like that. It was real quiet. So a worker just kind of glances through one of the glass doors and sees what he thinks might be a body laying in the kitchen on the floor. So he goes and tells Charlie Jr. Charlie Jr. lets himself into the house, and he discovers the dead bodies of both parents.
He is being so naughty. I think it's because we're on the sofa tonight, not at the table. So it's a change.
Lance fast.
Trout, you need to behave.
You need to stop, or you got to get down.
You're being naughty.
You got to get down. He said, "Aw, Mom,
you are being naughty.
Come on, buddy. If you want to be a part of the podcast, you got to behave.
Behave.
Don't make us put you in timeout.
The red light is on in the studio.
Yeah, I'll put you in the wagon.
Not the wagon.
Oh, dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, Charlie finds the dead bodies of both of his parents.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Charlie.
They had both been fatally shot.
Really?
So, they call the police. And, of course, now it's a crime scene.
Right.
And there's hardly any evidence at this crime scene. There's no forced entry.
Right.
But there are signs of a robbery. There's some cash missing.
Oh.
So Charlie Jr. kind of goes through the house with them and says, this is what I see that's missing that might possibly have been taken. And the main thing he sees is that there was some cash missing. And of course, it's a business.
Well, yeah.
So the police...
Any would-be robbers out there for either one of us, it's guaranteed.
Don't waste your time.
There's no cash. I'm famously known as No Cash Annie.
I coined that phrase a long time ago. She is No Cash Annie.
No Cash Annie. I got no cash.
I got no cash, and I got nothing in my bank account either, which is why I don't have any cash. So, it would just really be a huge disappointment for them.
Oh, my God.
We don't have the latest tech equipment. We have, it's like a garage sale looking thing. Like even our television, both of my kids have such better televisions than us. Yeah. And they come to our house and they're like, right, this again. Yeah. So, that would be so disappointing. So don't bother.
Yeah, I mean, my computer screen for work is bigger than the TV in my bedroom. So I'm just putting it out there.
I have a TV in my bedroom that never gets turned on.
I don't turn mine on
unless I'm sick. And I got to be real sick if I'm in bed for a day. Yeah. For that TV to come on.
So sometimes when Mama comes, she
likes to lay in bed and watch it. But we don't watch TV in bed ever.
No, I don't either.
So I don't even know why it's there, except it's too old to give it away.
Right.
So it's just somewhere to store it, pretty much.
Yes.
So anyway, the police start looking at the people in the Parker's circle. So as they're looking around, they discover some court documents where Diane had filed for and gotten temporary custody of Bambi's children, off and on.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So Bambi evidently was having or had some substance abuse issues.
Uh-huh.
And so Diane was, I think, trying to keep her on the straight and narrow as much as possible, and would file for temporary custody of her kids if she fell off the wagon.
Right.
If she felt like she was getting close to it.
Sure.
So this did cause some contention. And also they found documents where Bambi had inherited some land from her grandfather on her father's side.
Okay.
But Diane had actually taken over the trust of that during Bambi's, some of her downward spirals to protect Bambi from selling it on a whim.
Sure.
And, trying to get fast cash for it. And she was saving it. She wanted it for Bambi and Bambi's boys.
Right.
So, but this caused a lot of contention with Bambi, and Bambi was fighting her mom to get the land back. And she had recently gotten her kids back from her mom, as far as custody goes. And it seemed like Bambi was kind of bouncing back and forth between her parents' house and her boyfriend's house. Like, I don't think that she was out living on her own yet.
Right.
So I think that was causing some upheaval that Diane was trying to avoid with the boys.
Right. Yeah. No stability.
Yeah. So she was trying to be that voice of reason, and sometimes that doesn't read well to the other party.
No, especially if they're a drug addict.
Yeah. So it was no secret that Bambi was not always very pleased with her mother.
Right.
So they immediately start looking at Bambi and also Bambi's boyfriend at the time.
Right.
They said, okay, we're going to look at these two. So they go and speak to Bambi's boyfriend, Richard Gagnon.
Gagnon?
I think Gagnon, Gagnon, Gagnon. But we're going to gag none.
I'm not going to.
We're not gaggers. We gag none.
None gag.
We gag none.
No gag.
I don't know.
Gagnon.
I'm sure it's like Gagnon.
Gagnon.
And I'm mispronouncing it.
Gagnon.
But I don't know. He didn't sing French. I don't know.
Or what's that name here? And
like champagne, except it's champagne.
No, when we moved here.
Oh,
Legree, but it looks like
Laguerre.
Laguerre
or Laguerre.
Right.
Yeah, and we were saying the Laguerres, and they're like, that's not how you say it.
No.
Even though that's exactly how you spell it.
Exactly.
So, they start looking at Richard Gagnon. And Richard, at the time, could not give them a verifiable alibi.
Oh, no.
So, they bring Richard down to the station, and when he shows up, they said, well, we'd like to get your shoes and look at your shoes.
Oh.
Which is not unusual.
No.
Because if you shoot somebody, a lot of times you get blood spatter on you and stuff like that.
Sure.
So, sure enough, he takes off his shoes, and there's blood on the bottoms of them.
Well, I'll be darned.
And so the cops, of course, take them, bag them, send them out for testing.
Right.
To figure out whose blood is that, or what kind of blood is it. So, Richard's explanation of that blood was that he got blood on his shoes when he walked through the crime scene after the investigators left.
Oh.
So he said he went in to remove the crime scene tape, and while he was in there, he walked over and closed the curtains on the front window so Bambi wouldn't see the blood before it got cleaned up.
Oh.
And he also went in there because Bambi's purse and keys were in there.
Oh.
So that's why he went in there, and then he was like, oh, before I don't want Bambi to see the crime scene tape. I don't want her to see her to the blood. So he said he walked around, but the investigators had left and given the house back over.
Right.
That's what he says. So the cops then didn't believe him. So when the blood came back, sure enough, it was Charlie Parker's blood.
Right.
So at the crime scene, they also had collected, of course, blood and DNA evidence and all that kind of stuff, sent everything out. So on April 26th, they arrest Bambi and Richard and charge them with double homicide of the Parkers.
Oh, wow.
So they also looked at some others, in the circle. They talked to an employee named Khalil Moore. And he had been employed by Richard with the company, but he had been let go because he had failed a drug test. I'm going to get you.
You're going to be in big trouble, mister.
Trout, no.
You need to go 9-8.
Time out for you.
9-8. 9-8, buddy.
So anyway, they went and talked to Khalil Moore.
Mm-hmm.
they talked to all the employees.
Right.
But they found out this Khalil had failed a drug test, and so Charlie had to let him go.
Right.
But he also, he had been he was very close to the family, and some employees said that Charlie was trying to help Khalil even though he had to let him go. He felt real bad about it, but it was policy, and he couldn't make an exception.
Right.
So they bring Khalil in and asked him to take a polygraph, and he passes.
Okay.
So they were like, he passed his polygraph. We don't have any more questions for him. They let him go. So they didn't really have anybody else to question. They felt like they had their guy. They had their guy. So the DNA test comes back from the crime scene, and they do get a hit in the database. They don't know. It comes back. It comes back, and it's male DNA.
Okay.
It's not Charlie's.
Right.
It's not Richard's.
Okay.
They don't know whose it is.
Whose is it?
And they put it through the database, and it gets no hits.
Okay.
Okay, so they're like, we don't know. But they also said Charlie ran a glass business.
I know, yeah, that's
on the premises.
Part of it.
So it could be that anybody could have been in there and had a cut or cut themselves or whatever. You just don't know. And so they said, and it wasn't a lot of blood. So they were just like, or maybe Richard had an accomplice. They didn't know.
Right.
But Richard's blood was not on the premises.
Okay.
So.
Well, and you wouldn't really expect it to be if they were killed
with a shun gun.
Shun gun.
Oh my God. I think I'm having a stroke.
I love it.
What is a shun gun?
Listen, you keep your shun gun out of my house. I'm not okay with your shun gun.
I can't imagine what is happening to me. It's because I'm not drinking.
I know. We should
should have had some bourbon.
We're driving tomorrow, so we're trying
to not drink. But seriously, guys, you're a witness to this. I need bourbon.
Oh.
So anyway, Richard denies having anything to do with these murders. And eventually they let Bambi go because they got nothing on her.
Right.
Just that she was pissed off half the time at her mother and half the time she wasn't pissed.
Right.
That's it.
Doesn't necessarily make you a murderer.
No. And they didn't have they had nothing to keep her on.
Right.
So they let her go. So, and they kept talking to employees, and then they brought this Khalil back up again. And this employee said, listen, Khalil was really close to the family. He spent time in their house. He would eat meals with them.
Well, that didn't mean anything.
I know, but they were saying, don't look at him because we don't think it's him.
I've taken his DNA anyway.
Well, and I think they probably did. His DNA was not at the scene.
Okay.
So anyway, eventually Bambi gets her land because her mom's not alive to block her on it anymore. Right. And she takes her boys and moves to North Carolina, settles on her land.
Okay.
And Richard, her boyfriend, never hears another word from her.
Oh, so she dumped him. She said, I'm out.
Yeah, and he's sitting in jail.
Right.
I thought that was a little cold for the murder. So maybe she thought he did it and said, I'm going to separate myself from him. So
I don't know, but how could they hold him? They didn't have any evidence. They just had the blood on his shoes.
They arrested him. They charged him because of the blood on his shoes. And they feel like that his motive was that he wanted to get Bambi the land,
right,
and any kind of insurance money so that they could go start their life together. Right. Bambi didn't seem that. She was serious about him, but it didn't seem like that was her plan. Right. So it was a little confusing, yeah. But the police said, well, we're not saying Bambi told him to. We're saying he was acting on his own. Right. And this is what his plan was.
Oh, why?
Just because he was in love with Bambi, he was dating her and wanted to see her win.
I guess. It seems odd.
It seems a little flimsy. But they go to trial.
Really?
At the trial, there's an inmate that gets on the stand and testifies that Richard actually confessed to him in jail about the killings.
Oh my gosh.
So, again, Richard denies. He said, I don't even know this guy. I'm sure we're in the same jail together, but I don't even know him. Right. And he's convicted. Double homicide.
Lord have mercy.
Based on the motive to get the land. He gets 2 life sentences with no parole. Right. So, a year later, the lead investigator from this case gets a random phone call from another investigator in Tennessee.
Okay.
And says, we got a hit on some DNA from your crime scene.
Oh, my.
They were like, oh, my gosh. So they had picked up a suspect on a burglary charge. He went to trial and was convicted. And before he went to prison, as what they do now is they swab your cheeks and they go ahead and get your DNA.
Sure.
It's just part of the package.
Yeah.
So, and when they put that DNA into the database, it hit on that crime scene.
Right.
That mystery DNA. And they were like, okay, so who is this guy?
Right.
So this guy's name is Bruce Hill.
Oh.
Well, who the hell is Bruce Hill?
Who are you, Bruce?
Who is it? Bruce?
Don't bring me down.
So Richard says he doesn't know this guy.
Bruce.
And Richard Hill says he doesn't know Bruce Hill says, I don't know a Richard Gagnon.
Right.
So they're saying we don't know each other.
Right.
But the police are convinced that this was the accomplice that helped Richard kill the Parkers.
For heaven's sake.
Yeah, because his DNA was actually in Charlie's bedroom.
Wow. In the bedroom?
That's where they found the DNA.
Lord
Yes.
of mercy.
So, Bambi and Charlie Jr. also say, we've never heard of Bruce Hill.
Right.
We have no idea who this guy is. So, what's the connection? So, in late April 2005, so this happened in March of 2005,
Okay.
or April 2005. It was in 2005.
Okay.
After that, but not much further after that, there was a traffic stop in Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
And this police officer pulled over a Khalil Moore.
Okay.
You remember that name?
I do.
And with Mr. Khalil Moore was a friend of his in the vehicle with him named Bruce Hill.
Oh, Bruce.
So there's the connection.
Yeah.
But
Khalil. What did you do?
Khalil passed his polygraph.
I know, but that didn't mean anything.
So in 2013,
13.
8 years later,
Oh, my God.
Richard is still in freaking
Lord
prison.
have mercy.
He files an appeal, and it's based on this new evidence that this guy, Bruce Hill, his DNA was at the crime scene. His was the only other DNA at the crime scene besides Parker's.
Right.
He's friends with Khalil Moore.
Right.
Khalil Moore worked for them. Let me the hell out of jail.
Right.
And the police were not having it.
No, because
So
they closed their case.
they're like, we're done. So he files an appeal based on the new evidence, and a judge hears the evidence and orders a new trial.
Okay.
When they go back through, they have that same inmate, testify because they want to talk to him about his testimony, and he says, yeah, I lied.
Yeah, duh.
I lied. So he recanted his whole entire
lied
story.
And put a man in jail for 8 freaking years.
Just for shits and giggles.
And I think then there should be time tacked on to his
I think all of those years,
Yeah.
But we're not done.
Oh.
This is not done.
Okay.
So the judge lets Gagnon out on a $5,000 bond
Okay.
while he's awaiting trial. Thank God.
Yes.
Because the man needs some fresh air.
Yeah.
So 2 years go by.
Okay.
And he is still waiting to go back to trial.
Right.
And they still haven't they haven't gone into trial.
Well, I mean, it takes a long time.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
They already did one trial.
But they got to do a whole new with all the new evidence and try to figure it out.
So 2 years into this, Horry County prosecutor comes out and says, we're going to drop the charges for now on Richard Gagnon.
Okay.
But on the condition that we could reinstate it when we feel like it.
What?
So we are not expunging the charges or his sentence.
What?
But we're going to let him stay out on bail.
That does not make any sense to me.
It's stupid. It's convoluted, but they can do it.
That way it's not double jeopardy if they go to a new trial.
Yeah. Right. So, in a very crazy twist of fate, Khalil Moore, do you remember him?
I think I may vaguely remember him.
He had been charged with a murder as well.
Oh.
In 2013, he was brought back to South Carolina from Ohio for a murder that they pinned on him from 2013.
Wow.
So when he arrived, the prosecutor thought, this is my chance. I can go and talk to Khalil and get the real connection between Hill and Gagnon.
And maybe give him a later, like, work a deal.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get something for nothing.
No. Exactly. So they're dealing, they're wheeling and dealing. And the first thing Khalil Moore says is, there is no connection. There's no way those two people knew each other. No way. He's like, Bruce was my friend, my homeboy, my friend.
Right.
He never went to work with me. He would have no way to meet the boyfriend of my employer's daughter.
Right.
Like, there's no way they're connected. And he was like, Bruce Hill was living in Myrtle Beach, and I was living in Myrtle Beach. I don't think there's any connection. So the prosecutor's like, really? Yeah. So he was like, there's no connection. So they bring Bruce Hill up from Tennessee to South Carolina, to Conway, and put him on trial in October of 2014. Okay. He's convicted on 2 counts of burglary and 2 counts of homicide.
For the Parkers?
Yes. So he gets 2 life sentences plus 30 years to run concurrently. I hate that word.
Do we know what happened? Are you going to tell me what happened?
I'm going to tell you.
I'm so lost.
But what about Richard Gagnon?
I'm so lost at this point. I don't know how anybody is involved in anything who did what.
Okay.
Unless it's like, at that traffic stop, you disrespected me, so I had to come kill you. I don't know. I just don't know.
No, there was just a random cop.
I don't know.
It was just that cop had nothing to do with anything except that that was the connection that they were able to put Moore and Hill together.
All right, well, bring it all together because I'm sure the people listening are just
they're
as
kind of
lost
like, what
as
the
me.
flip and flip. Okay, so so this is what happened. What happened?
What happened was
Khalil talked all the time about the Parkers because they treated him so nicely. I went to dinner at their house. He's such a great guy. They have, I work at his business, this, that, and the other. And Bruce Hill just decides randomly to go rob those 2.
Oh.
Just randomly, right? He knocks on the door, and Charlie Parker just lets him in because he's just like,
sure, come on.
I'm running a business. You could be a client. You could be somebody applying for a job, whatever.
Or Khalil's friend.
Yeah. They don't think that Charlie even knew him. They think that Charlie just opened the door. But when he got in there, he decided he was going to rob him, and somehow got Richard back in the bedroom. There must have been a safe, or he must have thought there was a safe. They don't know how he cut himself and left a drop of blood there, but he did, and shot and killed Richard. And then I guess Diane Sugar tried to run for it, and he shot her in the kitchen. And then he left, took some cash and left.
And you told them that this is
That's
what
the police say happened. Okay, so that's what they say. He's convicted. He's going to jail. But Richard Gagnon is still standing there going, hello.
Right.
And they wanted to connect those 2 together. They did not.
Well, sure, because they look like assholes for sending this guy to jail.
Yeah.
And they open themselves up to a big old lawsuit if they then come out and say, well, there was no connection, our bad.
Well, it was their bad.
Yeah.
So I found something called the National Registry of Exonerations. Didn't even know this existed, but it does.
I'm glad.
Yeah. And it took them until 2015 to finally completely expunge all charges and the sentence that he was given of life without parole.
Wow.
2015. 10 years.
Right.
10 years.
Yeah.
This man for 10 years. And I got to tell you, he's not bitter.
Right.
The guy's not bitter. He said, I found God when I was there.
Yeah.
I am a praying man, and I prayed every single day. He says that if it weren't for this attorney, it's so funny because this attorney, and I don't remember his name. I didn't write it down because I'm not a great journalist. But his attorney was working for one of these law practices that looks into cases of like people that were erroneously charged.
Right.
To try to get them exonerated or try to get them out of jail. And this guy had lost all hope.
Right.
And this guy, he writes to them, to this law practice or organization, and this guy comes in. And so he says, I walk in to see this attorney, and it's this old Jewish man.
Right.
I'm thinking, what are you doing here? And the guy said, here, I just found Jesus, and Jesus sent me a Jewish attorney. And he said, but I got to tell you, that man told me I am not going to leave this case until you are a free man.
Nice.
And he said, I prayed every day. I just wanted a life so that I can have a family and children. That's all I want is I want a life.
Right.
And so he got his life, but not once in any of these interviews that I read or anything did it talk about he was suing them or like I don't know what happens. I don't know if that organization then goes and sues on his behalf.
Sure
I don't
there
even
was
know
some
what
kind
happens.
Of settlement somewhere.
I would hope so. It's not written down anywhere.
Right.
It was a little secret handshake behind
Probably.
a haystack.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I just thought that was crazy.
That is crazy.
And Khalil Moore did not murder that other person. They dropped all the charges against him. But thank God, fate, that he was in Ohio living his best life.
Right.
And so when they brought him back, and then he was like, there is no connection, it sealed the fate of then Gagnon saying, hey, this guy he's testifying on a Bible. There's no connection.
Right.
So you have to let me go.
Let me go.
I was telling the truth. I really did walk through the crime scene blood because I didn't want my girlfriend to see it. It was disturbing.
Right.
So, yeah, and that was the story of the Conway double homicide murders.
Wow, that is insane.
It was insane.
Mm.
I just really enjoyed this case.
I'm so thankful to hear that
There's
it
a
worked
lot
out.
of twists and turns.
Yeah.
And a lot of, oh my gosh.
Yes.
And then rereading, like, where's my guy? Where's Richard Gagnon? Where is he?
What happened to him?
I don't understand. My God, where's this man? So, I don't know. Anyway, he was exonerated, completely exonerated. He had nothing to do with it. Just telling the truth the whole time.
Awesome. I love it.
Me too.
Good murder.
And that put your dog right to sleep.
Yeah, let's don't bring any attention to it because we still got to get through our
social media.
Social media. That's right. That's right.
We do have social media.
We have email, and we love to get email.
And we haven't gotten any for a while, guys. So
it's been a while.
Can y'all just send it to make sure it's working?
Testing,
wink, wink,
1,
nod,
2,
nod.
3. Right. Yes. That email address is murder.sugarcoated@gmail.com. That is correct. Yes. Send us an email. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes. And you can get DeVanie's Divine Divinity.
The recipe.
The recipe. Yes. Or just order some and we'll ship it to you.
Well, it's not free.
No, it's not free, but I mean, it's not going to cost an arm and a leg either.
Right.
So, and then we have, what's that called? Instagram.
We do. We're on the gram.
We're on the gram. It's at Sugar Coated Murder.
That's our handle.
I finally figured out our TikTok handle.
Oh, what is it?
Sugar Coated Murder Pod.
Sugar Coated Murder Pod on the TikTok.
On the TikTok.
And we're starting to put some little TikTok things out there.
We're trying, and I know y'all probably get a chuckle out of them because we are the technology. So just to give y'all a little history, the little pop-in thing that we do, that really is a nod to our daddy.
Yes.
Because when daddy started doing, I don't know, when he had a video camera back then, it wasn't even, it was a movie camera.
Right. It was like the big.
It was a big, huge,
pound.
like 8mm camera with the big wheel of film.
Right.
And his big thing in all of our childhood videos, we did the pop-in. So it would start with a person, and then all of a sudden a person would pop in. And so he would stop it. You had to stay really still. He would go, get the other person in the shot, and then start again, and then another person would pop in. So that's kind of a nod to our dad, in case y'all are wondering, what the hell are they doing?
Right.
And plus, my little clicker thing doesn't always work to turn the camera on and off, so the person that pops in usually has had to start the camera, which is why sometimes it's a little shaky.
Yeah.
It's not a tremor. We're not having an earthquake.
No.
It's just, I usually hit the corner of the table on the way around.
Right. And we'll get better. Just stick with us.
Or not.
Or don't. If you don't like it and it makes you dizzy, turn the damn thing off. We are also on Facebook.
Yes.
You can join our Facebook fan page, which is Sugar Coated Murder Podcast fan page. If you find us on Facebook.
Here's my thing with the fan page. If everybody on that fan page, there's like 160 something people. If everybody on that fan page went out and got one friend to join that fan page, we would double in size instantly.
We certainly would.
And it would just make us happy.
It would. It would be amazing.
So can
the
you
trick
that,
is
please?
you have to join. You actually have to join the fan page.
You have to hit join.
Hit join. It's
You don't even have to answer questions for us. We don't care.
Yeah.
We just want people to join.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Or if you just are completely against joining groups, just go out to our regular Facebook page.
Sugar Coated Murder Podcast.
And just like us.
Like it. Or you can just like the fan page too. Either way.
Then you'll still get stuff. I mean, you'll still see like episodes that post and stuff. But on the fan page... Oh, goodness, the dog's got some allergies.
Oh, my goodness, God bless you.
Oh.
Now he's in circles.
On the fan page, we always put the episode out the day before anybody else knows about it.
Yep.
We put pictures and memes and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. It might be time for us to do another Facebook Live situation. I'm not sure.
We struggle. We'll
try.
Struggle. Guys, we'll see what happens.
Struggle. Yeah, we struggle.
We'll see what happens. We also, what else? Oh, we are also always open to donations through Buy Me a Cup.
Yes, and just think, a cup of coffee is equal to a little teeny thing of vanilla.
Yeah, one cup of coffee has the smallest size vanilla.
So think of it as not buying us coffee, but buying us vanilla.
Yeah, buy me a vanilla. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You can click on our link tree.
Yes.
Which we post whenever we post our episodes. We put the link tree out there. And that link tree, you click on it, it's got everything we've talked about. It's got a click away to our Instagram, our TikTok, our Buy Me a Cup, our episodes.
Oh, it's also got our merchandise links on
our merchandise
there. And it's
to
got
buy
our
t-shirts, masks, and then
our Plum Deluxe tea.
Right, we're ambassadors for Plum Deluxe tea out of Portland, Oregon.
Which that tea, guys, if you had this tea, I'm telling you, you would never go back to store-bought tea.
It is amazing.
It is exceptional. It is a cut above. It's the best tea I've ever had.
It really is delicious.
It is so delightful.
So if you click on our affiliate link, we'll get a little cut of whatever you buy.
Yes, and you can also do a subscription for a Tea of the Month Club.
Yeah.
Which is really awesome. And you can actually, if you are a non-caffeine person, you can go all herbal.
Yeah, you
can make that choice.
Talk about your preferences on there, and it's
and they really are good at working with you. And you can email them if you have an allergy, like Ann and I are allergic to hazelnuts.
So, and I don't do well with chamomile.
And Ann definitely should not drink chamomile ever.
No.
So, but you can tell them that, like, once you're in the Tea of the Month Club, if you email them and just let them know, hey, I can't do chamomile or I can't do this. They're really, really good about that. It's very customizable.
Yeah, and once you're in the club, you get free shipping on your stuff.
Mm-hmm. And you get member discounts and specials.
Yeah, so check it out. You can find all of the stuff we've talked about on our link tree, which we post when we post our episodes every week.
Yeah, and if you go to TikTok or Instagram, it's in our bio.
Yeah. And I think our stuff is showing up on YouTube.
Yeah, we've got a YouTube channel. It's Sugar Coated Murder or Sugar Coated Pod or something. Yeah. I mean, you'll find us. It's got our logo, so if you just type in Sugar Coated Murder Podcast,
we're all over the place. There is no excuse for you to not be following us, liking us, joining us, communicating
and telling
with us.
your friends and your family. If everybody gets one person to follow us, then we double in size in no time at all.
Exactly.
And we're in so many different countries. We so appreciate our international listeners.
Oh yeah.
I have no idea how they find us.
I don't either, but
I don't care. I just love it. I mean, we just added Luxembourg.
Nice.
I had no idea.
Nice.
So yeah, and so we've got a lot of really, really good pockets of followers. Canada is a big follower. Ireland, we seem to be pretty popular there.
Well, duh.
We're growing it. We've charted in Australia.
Okay.
We've charted in Ireland, and we've charted in Great Britain. So yeah, so we're around, but we really we just don't turn anybody away. We love everybody.
We pretty much do, but are you going to keep on yipping and yapping, or are you going to serve up some divinity?
I'm going to go get some DeVanie's Divine Divinity.
I don't know what's happening, but when I bake, I'm expected to bring a portion, and we try it, and we're ooh and ahhing, and I'm sitting here waiting for you to get up and get your hind parts in my kitchen and get me what I want.
Oh my gosh, so demanding.
I mean, I can't help it. So anyway, we're traveling to see Momma this weekend. It should be a good time. The weather should be nice. What else can I tell you?
I don't know.
I'm a big Washington Nationals baseball fan. I've been watching lots of baseball. My team has not been doing especially well. I will say they've been playing the St. Louis Cardinals, I feel like, for freaking ever. And if you watch any of the Real Housewives of Orange County.
They used to be on Orange County. They're not on there anymore.
There's a lady, Megan.
Yes.
And she was married to Jim Edmonds, who was a baseball player.
Are they not still married?
God, no.
Okay.
No. They no.
Oh,
So, and he's been commentating on these games, and he drives me freaking crazy. I'm ready for him to be gone. Like, I don't even want to watch the games anymore because he drives me bananas.
I got it.
Yeah.
All right, let's taste this Divinity.
Oh my God, that is so good.
I hope Mama likes it.
I'm gonna love it.
I really hope so. Well, guys, we love you.
We do. We hope that you will remember, stay sweet.
And don't murder.
Because if you kill people,
we will talk about you.
And it won't be pretty.
Nope, y'all.
Have a great week. We love you.
Safe.
Goodbye.
Bye.